What's up, Renegade Nation? Before we begin the video, I'd like to give a big shout out to our most recent Patreon supporters, Jordan J, Marvoius, Clever Willow, Anurang Krishnan, Ryan Towers, Ross Lingard, Paper, Zakuma, Richard Dirkman, Ryan James Maxwell, Kenjiro Talbashi, Kit Game, and Jessica Miller. Thank you all so much for your support. And if you want to support us on Patreon, feel free to click the link below in the description to find out more. Thanks again.
So, okay, this movie is... I remember when it was first hyped. You know, it was a gothic vampires versus werewolves story that had that, you know, I was just like, okay, this could be interesting. And honestly, the only thing I fully remember from this, I remember parts of the story, I remember some of the characters, and I remember some of the action. But the number one thing I remember from this is Kate Beckinsale. Dude, there was a time I would have flagellated myself until my back was no more. If I could have like been with Kate Beckinsale. There was a time. Thankfully, I have matured as a human being, and my hormones are no longer running as rampant as they did back in 2003 when I was
8th grade.
9th for me, dude.
Oh, it's 8th for me.
God, dude.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure this movie was specifically made and marketed to a demographic of 8th to 9th grade edgelords, such as myself and my friends were back at that point.
I wasn't a full-blown edgelord, but
I just started getting into like horror a year or two before that and everything, and then it's like, oh, there's this movie coming out that's like vampires versus werewolves. And I'm like, that sounds badass. And it's like Kate Beckinsale's the lead, and I was like, that sounds hot.
Yeah, and seeing her in her outfit, I'm just like, damn. Yeah. And here's the funny thing. Behind the scenes, Kate Beckinsale, at one point, was married to Michael Sheen, the man who plays Lucian, the head werewolf in this. But during the production of this film, she got married to the director of this film, a guy named Len Wiseman. He actually went on to direct the first two Underworld films. Those two are my favorite. The second one's probably my favorite of this franchise.
I actually never watched past the first one.
Really?
Yeah.
Second one, actually, my dad didn't like the first one. My dad actually loved the second one. And my dad's a very hard person to please when it comes to action movies because his watermark is fucking Die Hard. He has to remind me of that every time we watch a fucking action movie. Oh, it's not Die Hard, son. Well, it's not Die Hard. Like, we went and watched John Wick, and he was just like, yeah, but Die Hard just had something else to it. And I'm just like, not every film's going to be Die Hard, Dad. No other film's going to be Die Hard. I get that.
John Wick kicks the shit out of Die Hard.
John Wick has better action than Die Hard. Better comedy? No.
Earlier, whenever they did that weird, like, testicle milk joke and...
Oh.
That, like, you guys probably didn't hear it, but my phone was sitting over there, and it was perfect timing, because it went, wow, as soon as that happened.
Now that I know that, that makes that moment even better.
Yeah. Sucks, because it wasn't, like, my notifications. I was not turned up loud enough that you could have heard it through the mic, but that did happen.
I can imagine, like, me and Chad, all of us just dying from that happening.
Yeah.
Nut milk.
Yeah, pretty much.
But Underworld, when it came out, I mean, Kate Beckinsale was a lot of people knew her from a few things, but this is actually what gave her a lot of mainstream pull, because a lot of people said she was the main reason to watch these films. And as they continued on, she stayed with the franchise, but eventually everyone else that was involved stopped being involved. For instance, after the second one, Len Wiseman called it quits. And then eventually, I think by the time they got to the fourth one, I think even Michael Sheen, the guy who played Michael in this film, quit. God, dude, and it's sad to see a franchise go that way and just not know when to die. But
yeah.
Hey, It's a franchise about vampires and werewolves. What do you expect? Undying is kind of what they do.
Yeah.
But, all right.
I'd say 2 to 3 at best were probably enough, but probably 2, honestly, with something like this.
2...
Unless you're going to try to bring more into the universe, you know. Like,
well,
after vampires and werewolves, you got to do something else and add to that to an extent, or it's going to get old real quick.
Truthfully, they tried to evolve things forward in the second one, and I was hyped for what was going to come next. But then they decided to do a prequel, which a lot of people said the prequel was good. I never got a chance to watch it. I never did, but a lot of people said it was really good. Anyway, this movie was recently reviewed by the Nostalgia Critic, and it has just fallen outside of our not ban, but our monthly furlough that we give Nostalgia Critic videos to get their swagger. So, anyway, this is the Nostalgia Critic Underworld. Let's see what Doug's got to say about it.
A little bit loud.
God, every time that comes on.
Still a little bit loud.
Turn it down a little bit.
Yeah, please.
What? That's a bit better. Doug, Malcolm, camera. Who else is going to be in this one? Oh, hey, Jim. And Rob.
Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Critic. I remember so you don't have to. Every once in a while, you gotta get a little fashionable. And in fashion, there's no name bigger than setting the mode.
Yes, thank you, darlings, yes.
Senna's been planning a nostalgic callback to movie fashion at the turn of the century, so I figure there's no better place to have that fashion show than at the studio of the Nostalgia Critic.
Yes, my first design, the Keanu Matrix Reeves. Notice the long black trench coat that says, I'm a cool, angry rebel. Next, the Wesley Blade Snipes. Notice the long black trench coat that says, I'm a cool, angry rebel. Next, the Woo Sin City Willis. Notice the long black trench coat that says, I'm a cool, angry rebel.
See the
Sense
pattern
of
here?
theme.
Next is the Nickowist Face-Off Cage. Notice the long black trench coat that says, I'm a cool, angry rebel. Next, the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, Invisible Man. Notice the long black trench coat that says, I'm a cool, angry rebel. Yes, thank you, darling.
Doug's seeing
Yes.
a pattern here.
Yeah, I guess a lot of action stars in the late 90s and early 2000s had a thing for
Trench
long black
coats.
coats.
Trench coats.
On the one hand, it kind of makes sense as they look really cool. They're cinematically pleasing, they wave
Face
beautifully in
off,
the
yeah.
wind, and they immediately give the impression of that dark loner who does things differently. Yeah, except when everyone else does it. Yeah, now this has become a major cliche, but it is a cool cliche, still making appearances here and there. But one of the last films you could argue just barely got away with it is...
And finally, Kate Underworld Beckinsale. Notice the shoes. And the long black trench coat that says, I'm a cool, angry rebel.
Also the cummerbund or
You clicked on the
the
video, you know which one
corset,
it is.
I guess. Gotta love that gothic.
Released in
that
2003,
gothic
this was one of the
template.
few comic book movies that was not based on a comic book. Surprisingly, there's not as many of these as you would think, and this by far would confuse the most people into thinking it was. Everything
Yeah.
from the look, the story, the lines, it all suggests it came from a graphic novel. But nope, this was an original idea directed by Len Weissman and developed by Danny McBride and Kevin Grievous, who also appeared in the movie.
Yes.
While not a
As
critical
Rays.
favorite, audiences found themselves growing an attachment to both this film and its sequels, even spawning, not surprisingly, its own comic series written by Grievous. But over 15 years later, does this film stand out more than just another long black coat movie? Well, there's only one way
That
to
shot
find
was
out.
cool.
Do you mind? We're trying to conduct a fashion show here.
Oh, sorry, it's kind of a bad habit I have. I'll be quiet.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Next we
So
have...
let's take a look at Underworld. Yeah, I'm going.
Yeah, get out, Critic.
There goes the neighborhood. So how
Shut
long
up,
till we get
Rob.
our angsty protagonist looming over the city shot? Well, you know what the people want. Make room for Daredevil, Batman, Spider-Man.
The war had all but ground to a halt in the blink of an eye.
So I hope you like homework, because this movie lays more info in its opening minutes than SAT study guides.
Lucian, the most feared and ruthless leader, had finally been killed. The Lycan horde scattered to the wind.
Yeah, there was a little bit too much
Bloodfeud
exposition
proved
in the beginning.
unwilling to follow Lucian to the fray, passed like the weapons of the previous
Yeah.
century. The two no longer held weapons of evolved, the good no longer held the...
Okay, here's the main setup. There's a war between vampires and werewolves, or Lycans, and the vampires mostly wipe them out. However, they're shocked to find there's still quite a few left. More than they thought. Oh, and Lenny dies. I think that page was meant for something else.
Today's forecast is like yesterday's forecast. Blue. A whole shit ton of blue.
It's sort of washed out.
I still kind of like it though.
Yeah, well,
It sets a certain mood.
Okay, so something
It
you'll notice
does.
very quickly is even though this movie has a lot of cliches, they're the really good cliches.
yes.
Like, I could watch a whole movie of people just staring at each other before shit goes down.
Yeah. Hey, I got those audio panels in my room.
See, there's just something cool about it.
It's
Fight
true.
breaks out as a vampire named Celine, played by Kate Beckinsale, hunts down some Lycans in a subway station. Hey, come on, we're matrixing down here.
True, yeah.
How come movies about amazing hunters always have them missing more things than they hit? But the cool blazing
I don't even
saddles
think
you
they meant
shoot
to
them,
hit
that
her
only
either.
makes him mad.
Oh, hell. Yeah.
This is no time to reenact Sorry to Bother You.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, for the people that haven't seen it, good luck figuring that out. Lycan takes out the vampires, though, so
have no
only
idea.
Celine is left.
I've seen it.
Yeah, those loud subway trains do sneak up on ya! She pumpkin bombs the last Lycan standing as the survivors make it back to their leader, Lucian, played by Michael Sheen.
Yeah,
Sadly,
that
he's
guy.
actually trying in this movie, so we don't get anything that goofy. But seeing how this is a vampire flick, I am curious to see his new take on Frost Nixon.
Pierce! Taylor! Put some clothes on, will you?
There's only so much the widescreen balls can cover. Celine returns home at Vampire Toad Hall as she reports that the Lycans are still around.
Ultraviolet ammunition.
Daylight harnessed as a weapon.
We've hunted them to the brink of extinction.
They opened fire on us in full view of the public.
So here's the thing about this movie. It does have a lot of things we've seen before, and it is pretty standard as these films go, but there is a strange kind of investment. I'm not sure if it's the writing, the acting, the style, or maybe all three, but despite nothing really being that new, I do find myself really listening to what they're saying.
I'd rather have you prove me wrong by checking it out.
Soren will handle it.
Victor would believe me.
I'd never dream of treating you like that.
Of course you would.
That's why you've earned your name, Lady Brown-Nose. It looks like a big event is planned called The Awakening. I know. I'm shocked people who look like this came up with that pretentious name too. Where one of the ancient vampire lords is to be resurrected back to life. But Celine can't help but feel uneasy. And I'd listen to her. She's been weirdly typecast.
It's a waste of time, you know. Come on, we need to get you ready. For what? The party.
Party? I've been toilet trained since last week, thank you very much. Celine's friend Erica, or as she's often referred
was a
to,
joke, I
tries to
guess.
get her ready for the big party.
You should definitely wear this one, it's perfect.
As you can see in this mirror, we're not supposed to see ourselves in hay.
You know I was planning on having you at my side this evening.
Take Erica, she's dying to be at your side.
We will have our obligatory pretty dressing. You've done this before. You know the drill! As she tries to look closer at the two Lycans she fought, they also try to regroup at their headquarters. You will tell me the secret of the everlasting gobstopper.
It kind of does look like Slugworth.
Oh, I do hope we cut to another blue room. Yes! More films need to look like Nightcrawler's dick was smeared all over it!
Wow,
Commented
Doug.
I'm not the only one who thought he had 4 arms for a second.
The vampires didn't realize you were following a human.
I don't think so.
You don't think or you don't know.
think they're the same thing in this case.
Yeah.
As the vampires prepare for their party, Selene leaves to go search for those lichens. But what about our obligatory pretty dress scene? Obligatory pretty dress scene! She discovers they're searching for a human named Michael Corvin, who lives in this really cool dissolve shot, while the police seem to be looking for him as well.
He's not in some kind of trouble, is he?
Let me respond through my channeling of Owen from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. That should answer it for you. Michael returns home to find Selene there, as well as more lichens hunting him down.
Strange way to take an elevator.
Well, that's just silly.
Silly but cool.
Lucian finds Michael, though, and bites him. Ooh, someone just combined Red Bull with Joel's Cola. Oh. Selene saves him, but Lucian continues to hunt them down.
That shot, actually, I saw how they did that behind the scenes.
Hey, that cool thing that's in everything. What's the name of that thing again? Oh, fitting title.
What are you, crazy? He's just standing there. You know that means he's gonna do something really neat.
He's gonna do something neat! Neat, but could have been edited out. Michael offers to take over driving, but Selene insists that she's okay.
You've lost a lot of blood.
Shut up and hold on, I'll be fine.
You dames, you always act tough, but when you need a couch moved or a person to drive when you pass out from losing blood because the leader of the werewolf stabbed your shoulder with a cool thing that's in everything, you always turn to us! They crash into the river, but Michael pulls her out just before passing out himself as the lichen returns home.
If Michael is indeed a carrier, soon he will be a lichen.
He will be a lichen what? Have the dog that bit him! Oh!
Jesus,
So Michael wakes up
on.
at the vampire mansion. Don't any bloodsuckers live in mobile homes?
You've been unconscious for a while. Do you have any idea why those men were after you?
What's that, bitch? Oh, you're totally welcome. Always love saving people from a sinking car. The rest of the vampires are not as happy, though, having a human in their home.
You go against my orders and spend the night away from the shelter of the mansion with a human?
I just need you to understand that Michael is somehow important to the lichen.
Oh, so now it's Michael!
What happened to the name I gave him? Stupid poopy dumb head. Erica gets a closer look, though, and discovers he's been bitten by a lichen. I have other cartoon cat reflexes. I can have a mallet like that. Michael escapes, just pissing off the vampires even more, so Selene prepares once again to hunt him down.
Do you believe Lucian died the way they say he did?
Craven been telling more stories again, eh?
It's nothing but an ancient story.
I know it's sexist to tell a woman to smile, but is it sexist to tell everyone to smile? I'm surprisingly invested enough in these performances and how dedicated the actors are to them, but it's a little hard to be drawn in when absolutely nobody gives a smirk, a wink, a laugh, a joke. Even if the setup has no sense of humor, you can still do something funny with that. Like the knock-knock joke from Catch Me If You Can. That's not a funny character, but he's given a funny scene, allowing us to relate to him a lot more. It's amazing how far a little scene like that can go. You want to see them die less when you have more to like about them. It's like having the Avengers without any of the scenes of them just chilling and talking. You still get the cool scenes, but something is really missing when you take those moments out. With that said, it's not really bad in any way, it's just kind of going through the motions. Like when the main lead looks up something bad that happened in the past and, oh no, may happen again!
Of the scores of brave souls who entered Lucian's fortress, a single vampire survived, Craven, returning with evidence of the Lichen Master's demise.
Okay, how many books actually have the ancient artifact they're talking about in the book? Look, the Legend of Arthur and the Holy Grail, complete with the Holy Grail. It doesn't work that way!
Fair enough.
Ah, the old folktale. Spell Victor's name on a mirror, do nothing, and nothing will occur. It came true!
Please forgive me.
It's the opposite of the candy
But I
hen.
desperately need your guidance.
So Selene plans to bring back a different elder named Victor, whom she had a strong connection with, in the hopes that he'll know what to do, despite him being resurrected over a different elder chosen by the rest. I taste like chicken.
The other white meat.
To my knowledge,
Ah!
an awakening awakening
that's
has never
right.
been
Someone's
attempted
narrating
by
this.
one such as myself.
I'll admit I like that it's not over-narrated like a lot of other movies that use narrations, but it does happen so rarely it kinda surprises you when it occurs. I mean, if you're gonna start an idea, don't abandon it halfway through, right?
Well, perhaps you could consider
Yeah,
that
I'm sure she agrees.
Damn it, Doug. I get what he's saying about the little criticisms about, you know, having a little bit of
Hey, you can
comedy
come
here
see
and
us
there.
at Wizard World Chicago, August
Didn't take itself a
22nd to
little
the
too
25th.
seriously.
That's me,
But-
Brad Jones, Rob,
but at the
Tamara,
same
Malcolm. You
time,
can
it's
see us
kind
all
of
there,
just
and you can get 20%
expected
off your
because of
tickets
the
by putting in the
setup
promo
of the
code
film.
Awesome.
Well, like I said, it
Hope
was
to see you
marketed
there.
to edgelords. If it had funny stuff in it, we probably wouldn't have thought it was as cool as it was.
Yeah.
Or as we did.
There's probably
So among
another
people
way.
walking to things, ancient stuff being looked at,
Probably
and
another
so
way to
many,
endure-
many
like,
angry
get
brows.
characters
I'm legit not complaining. I love all that stuff. Michael
invested
returns
without-
back to the mansion,
without
and Celine
comedy.
drives him away.
Never come here again. They'll kill you. Do you understand?
Why? Who are you people?
We're Batman.
What?
Sorry, felt right in the moment.
Meanwhile, the head of the house, Craven, discovers that Victor has been risen instead of the chosen elder.
She never listens. I should have told you sooner.
Told me what?
That I look like a guy who constantly smells something bad.
He does.
Victor rises and hates that his old person afterlife of watching CSI and Fox News has been interrupted.
This coven has grown weak.
Victor is played by Bill Nighy, though he sounds more like Matthew McConaughey auditioning for Downton Abbey.
You know why I have been awakened, servant?
I'll soon find out.
You must let her come to me. We have much to discuss, Celine and I.
This is worse than that time I discovered I was a video game character in Serenity. You were never gonna see it! Celine takes Michael to a lab where she plans to figure out why the Lycans want him. While there, she reveals that she hates the Lycans because they killed her human family, but Victor saved her and turned her into a vampire. When Michael asks who started the war between them, she says they did! Maybe.
Or at least, that's what we've been led to believe. Digging into the past is forbidden.
Suspicious much? Man, if you have to just go off someone's word, especially when there's mounting proof to the contrary, aren't you setting yourself up as a sucker? You know, let me see if that actually works. Malcolm, Tamara.
For shizzle?
Malcolm, did you know that Tamara killed the dinosaurs?
Is that true?
No!
But Malcolm, I really want you to believe that.
He's got a point.
Malcolm, there is a ton of evidence that proves I did not kill the dinosaurs.
No, it was
Then
a
Malcolm,
meteor.
I guess you have to ask yourself, who do you believe and who do you want to believe?
Well, I've known Tamara to be a kind, generous person ever since we've met. And I've known you to be an attention-hungry drama whore who complains night and day. However, I do love drama, so...
All right, Missy. Here you go. All right. Resist arrest, eh? I'm itching to speak with you.
Well done, Malcolm. You made my right choice.
You mean the right choice?
What'd I say?
Your right choice.
Indeed it is. Celine handcuffs Michael to the chair, saying it's the only way to keep him safe if he transforms. She returns to the mansion where, let me guess, all the vampires are sitting around like a Vanity Fair shoot?
Yes.
I'd say that's far-fetched, but isn't that what we all think vampires do anyway? Where Craven, let me guess again, complains about something.
How could you do this to me? Embarrass me like
Jason Rafter, some human was not what I had in
Just
mind.
be on me while you're still obsessing over this ridiculous theory.
Absolutely not. Not
Good
now.
God,
Not for
Celine,
random
shut him
take
up.
this warrior business far too seriously.
If you go to him, you'll never be welcome in this house again.
This guy bitches more than... What's the latest social media trend people use for whining? Still? Okay. She ignores him, though, and goes straight to Victor.
Yeah.
Line. Oh, you're keeping that in? Okay, I've done weirder.
Constantly hounded by Craven and his never-ending infatuation.
He desires the one thing he cannot have.
A full performance where he can show his face. Oh, wait, that's me.
The chain has never been broken. Not since we elders first began to leapfrog through time.
Okay, I just love that this ancient elderly vampire used the term leapfrog. I hopscotched through space and tiddlywinked through eternity.
The Coven is in danger and Michael is the...
Ah, the ceremonial chicken transformation.
The Coven is in danger and Michael is the...
You will not be shown an ounce of leniency.
You must be judged.
Well, that backfired. So Celine is locked away until they decide what fate awaits her.
No one opens this door.
Understood?
Oh, I remember. Can he leave the room with us?
Meanwhile, Michael tries using the gun to shoot the cuffs off. It
Never
doesn't work.
works.
Thank God we saw
Never
it.
works.
But Erica breaks in to set Celine free. Thank God she would have found no way out of this escape-proof dungeon.
Why are you helping me?
I'm not. I'm helping me.
Well, that invites no follow-up questions. Off you go. She gets to Michael, but she's followed, so she once again tries to save him.
Jump!
I said jump, not plummet! He's captured again, though. He does that very well. Celine, however, captures the Lycan scientist and brings him to Victor.
Now, I want you to tell them exactly what you told me.
Oh, your boobs are amazing. I can motorboat them all night. Ah!
We've been searching for some of Alexander Corvinus. Hungarian, in power in the early seasons of the 5th century.
Did you have to give the exposition to the thickest accent in the movie?
Right.
Okay, it's a bit hard to follow through Hugo Brad Derv Weaving's accent, but it sounds like he was working on combining the bloodlines of both vampires and Lycans.
It has already begun.
Whoa. Okay, that's not the coolest punch I've seen, but it's in the top 4. So they discover Craven has betrayed them and is in cahoots with Lucian.
I thought we had a deal.
These are matters to be discussed in private.
You know, it just hit me. Why am I rooting for any of these people? Whoever wins is gonna eat us! Lucian uses his Sauron vision to show Michael that long ago, Lucian and Victor's daughter were lovers. But combining the bloodlines would make them too powerful, so he had his daughter killed. A Wolfio and Gouliad, if you will.
I was born in servitude. Yet I harbored them no ill will. Even took a vampire for my bride.
You know, I'm really growing to like Lucian. First of all, he's the only one that smiles. Second, he is an interesting and complex character.
Yes.
It'll be interesting to see what they do with him.
Yep.
What now? Boo! Can we at least have Vampire him react to that? Things feel okay now. Look, even the writer is feeling bad that he killed him off. Oh no, the 2 bodyguards we barely seen in this movie are gonna fight. I'm so invested in this. No, on second thought, this is like ordering a burger but getting a steak, but the steak is a lot better, so I'll take it. I got look behind me for no reason. I regret looking behind me for no reason. There's a big shootout with the vampires and werewolves all at each other's throats as Craven tries to escape.
Ow.
Clumsiest, dumbass vampire ever. Celine frees Michael and I guess they were in love too. Hooray. But Craven gets the drop on it.
Shoehorn love bullshit.
God, this guy's so unlikable, he could be a Baldwin. Craven
Congrats to
reveals,
him
though,
for getting
that
to make
Victor
out with her,
killed
though.
Celine's family and only spared her
To his
because she reminded him
actor.
of his own daughter. But Lucian gets one more ha in as Celine bites Michael to save him, turning him into a powerful hybrid.
Is it not a fair trade, the life I have granted you?
And the life of your daughter?
I loved my daughter.
Ooh, he turned into a Trump speech for a second.
I loved my daughter.
I love my daughter. She's great, huge. Michael is fully transformed, though, and... Oh, I think I'm gonna like Werepire. Yeah, this fight's pretty awesome. There's so much gunplay in this movie that, while cool, does make you forget this is a vampire versus werewolf film.
Yeah.
Here, you get a good
That was one
reminder
irk I
as
had
they
with it. It's
scratch
like,
each
man, they
other,
use guns a
punch each
fuck
other,
ton for
sneer
being
at each other,
supernatural
throw each
creatures.
other. Literally not making a dent, that's weird. But there is something bizarrely awesome about seeing an aging, fanged Davy Jones deliver hooks to Ben from Felicity doing his impression of Grilled. I am not dissatisfied. Why is that such a popular phrase in movies? It's not a good line. It's like someone saying, I want you to be dead now, and everyone else going like, whoa, we gotta use that. Celine grabs a sword though, and per YouTube's constantly changing monetization rules, I have no idea if I can show you what she does to him, so here's a dramatic reenactment.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Celine and Michael run off knowing they're gonna be...
Yeah. YouTube, you're full of shit. That's all I'm gonna say. YouTube, you're full of shit.
Pretty much.
be hunted by both sides as the next vampire elder is raised, and it seems the world of vampires and werewolves has been changed forever. And a good way this time. And that
Oh, God. Oh! I prefer Underworld so much over the fucking Twilight series.
Well, see, it came out back before vampires got ruined by that.
kind of interesting flick. On the one hand, I can see why critics didn't like it. It is slow and could have used a lot more relatability and uniqueness, but I can also see why audiences liked it, because it is a very complex and engaging story. It's nice to see a movie that says, screw the humans, let's just keep it focused on
And it's just got a lot of badass stuff in it.
Yeah, it does.
It's got some really goofy stuff in it, but it's got some badass stuff in it,
they
too.
want to keep those rules the way they are. I do wish there was a little more personality in the dialogue these characters say, but at the same time, they're all acted pretty well and seem invested enough that it gets me invested too. It's kind of like what Gene Siskel said about Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible. He said, I have no idea what he wants, but he wants it so badly, I want him to get it. It's the same thing here. It's not amazing or anything, but I did want to know what was going to happen and want to know even more about how this world works. I don't think it's for everyone, but I had a decent enough time watching it. Fly on in and take a bite for yourself. So I guess it is more than just a run-of-the-mill long black coat movie. Hey, speaking of which, how's that fashion show doing?
Yes, thank you for coming to my show, darling.
Whoa! The airplane just crashed and its engine is still on!
Let's go save the day.
No, cults are like capes. They always get stuck in...
Capes.
That's not good for anyone.
No.
I'm the nostalgia critic, and if fashion breeds impracticality breeds messiness.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so...
That's cool. He liked it more than I figured he would.
I thought so. I'm glad he liked it, too, because I was wondering how he would respond. And apparently he responded pretty well. I mean, that's a good thing, right?
Yeah. So I expected him to tear this movie a new one. But...
Oh. Me too. I expected that. But honestly, that's one reason why I like Doug, because, conventional critics didn't like it. It has, I think, hold on. Let's actually take a look real quick.
They weren't in the demographic.
Well, of course they weren't in the demographic, but oh God, damn ads! I shouldn't really be complaining. That's how we make. That's how.
Yeah, I agree with him. I feel like humor would have made it like a above average movie rather than just like an okay.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go.
Action horror.
So yeah, look at this. Has a 31 on Rotten Tomatoes, but a 79 in the audience score.
Yeah.
Just goes to show you, critics don't always know what the hell they're talking about. I mean, let's see, the sequel, to my knowledge, let's see. There we are. Oh, you mother. Yeah, see? This one has an even worse tomato meter rating, but yet, look, a 72. So, okay, yeah, let's just do a, yeah. So this is Underworld Evolution. This is the sequel that they made. Which, personally, I like this one better than the first one, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. But, we go to the original Underworld, look at this, a 31, but a 79.
Mm-hmm.
So, critics sometimes don't know what they're talking about, and sometimes certain films...
It's not usually just sometimes. Critics often don't really understand what the audience is looking for in movies.
Yeah.
They all seem to have this air that they're smarter than the audience is, and everything they're looking at in terms of like reviewing the movie is just way more fucking complex than what people are usually looking for when they're wanting to go be entertained with a $11 ticket. Know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I just gave everyone a preview of what one of our next videos is going to be.
Oh well.
Oh well. But the Underworld series, I think give it a little bit of time and try and remake it and actually like go with the lore that they have, but yet add the stuff into it that it was missing. I think it could potentially be a certain pseudo revival for like classic vampires.
Yeah. And previously, if like, you know, before we watched this and I looked back on it, if you had told me, hey, they're remaking Underworld, I would have been like, I don't give a fuck. I would have been like, I don't care at all. Like, that's why are they remaking that? But like, now that I've seen this and thought about it, like, I'd probably be kind of excited if they did at some point decide to remake it just to see what they did with it, because it does have, I feel like, some potential beyond what it actually reached.
Yeah, and personally,
because I was originally like, you know, when I started talking about this, I was like, this was just a movie that was targeted at 8th grade, 9th grade edgelords, you know, and I still kind of believe that.
Kind of, yeah.
But it has the potential to be similar to what it was, but actually entice a wider audience if they did it the right way, I think.
Yeah. I really think that the Underworld franchise, that's like the more recent films, like Awakening, and I forget what the most recent one was. They've done 5 Underworld films. The first 2 are in the main, like, Celine's storyline. The third one was Rise of the Lycans, which is the prequel that tells Lucian's rise to power. Then 4 and 5 are the continuation of Celine's storyline, which 4 and 5 do not feature any of the other original characters except for Celine. Like, I was surprised that they couldn't get Michael the guy who played Michael Scott Speedman. I'm surprised they couldn't get Scott Speedman back. Also, another thing about the first Underworld film, there was a song in it that I did not know what the hell it was, but I loved it so much. It was the one where they were in the police car as Michael was starting to transform, and the officers and the cops put on a song to, like, drown out him, like, screaming in the back seat. And I didn't know this, but for a long time, but the song was actually by the song Black Light Burns. It was called Coward. And Renholder, who does a lot of work with Nine Inch Nails, actually did a remix of it for the film. And I actually found it a few years ago, and I was just like, holy crap! I've been looking so long for this! Where the hell has it been? And it's got a great riff in it, and it's by Wes Borland, the guitarist for Limp Bizkit. It was when he'd left Limp Bizkit, and
I still have a musical mystery kind of similar to that. It's kind of the opposite thing, though. It's where I know what the song is, and I can't figure out where the fuck I've heard it before.
Oh.
But I heard it before I had that album, and I don't know where. And I could never figure it out. I've asked people, and people are like, I think you're just imagining it. Like, everybody out hear it, they're like, yeah,
we'll do a little bit of a thing after we're done with this video where, because, hey, YouTube copyright, we're not allowed to listen to music. I mean, 5 seconds of a freaking song, all of a sudden your video gets claimed and you get nothing!
Mm-hmm.
Ain't that fair? That seems fair, right? My ass.
Totally fair.
Oh, yeah. Anyway,
we didn't do all kinds of work on the video outside of using that song for 5 seconds or anything. So clearly we don't deserve anything, despite the fact that, you know, I mean, like, fucking YouTube, you know what would make sense, and we've talked about this before, but I don't know if we've talked about it on our video, is if we put 5 seconds of a song in the video, give them a percentage of the profits equal to 5 seconds of the video, what that percentage is of the video.
Yeah, doesn't
part
matter
that
how
we made,
infinitesimal it is.
That should still be ours.
Yes. Isn't that fair? Isn't that fair for everybody? It's not like everybody's tuning into our video just listening to that 5 seconds of a song.
Because that would make sense for reaction videos too, in like the opposite direction. Is like if, say, you know, Channel Awesome wanted to claim this video.
Yeah.
Let them have the entirety length of their video, but everything that we made before and after it, still let us have that.
Exactly. I would be fine with that. I would be 100% fine with that if channels wanted to do that. Because to me, that's more fair than the system that YouTube has in place now.
Yep.
Sheesh. Anyway, we're going to move on from this, ladies and gentlemen. We hope you have enjoyed. So, until next time, signing off, I'm Nate.
I'm Nick.
And hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, like the video, leave a comment down below, and we will see you in the next one. Peace out.